What we're going to show you today is a really quick, simple and easy video on how to actually put some seedlings into your system without growing from seed. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is obviously grab our coconut core pellets that we have, and we need to expand those and get them ready for the seedlings that we're going to be transferring into them. So no matter what we do, we're going to be utilising our coconut core seedling pellets. And the first thing we want to do is add a little bit of water to these. And we just want to get those nice and wet. And they can take anywhere from kind of 5 to 10 minutes to expand to their full size. And once they're at their full size, we can go to the next step. So we've just been down to Bunnings to grab a variety of some leafy greens, some herbs and some fruiting plants. And we're just going to go through the next step to show you how to prepare these and get these ready for the Airgarden system. It's really important to remember, everyone out there, that the Airgarden is a completely soilless system. So if we do go down to our nursery or a Bunnings, obviously when we get a plant, it's going to be in soil. So the next step here, and it's really easy and simple, we're going to show you how to get all this soil off it, get these roots nice and bare, and get them ready for our little coconut core plugs so we can transfer them into the Airgarden system. Okay, here we've got some flame lettuce or some red lettuce, which is really good if you're in a little bit of a warmer climate. And just want to show you now how to get these out of our little punnet tray and shake off some of the soil. So the first thing we want to do is just get our thumb or finger under here and just give that a little bit of a push so you can see it's just popped up there pretty easily. And then what we want to do is we want to get all the way down to the bottom of this stem and slowly just lift it up and out, and just be sure not to rip any of your leaves, because sometimes they kind of grow interspersed between each other. And there we go, there's our little seedling there. And as you can see, we've got all that soil on there that we need to get rid of. So if I put that down here, our next step here, first thing we want to do is just to grab it again by the collar right down at the base to avoid kind of crushing any of those seeds. And we just want to give it a bit of a bang on a bit of a hard surface, get as much loose stuff as we can off. And you can see there that wasn't super successful. So the next step, which is really easy, is they're getting a nice light mist of water, spray of water, to just gently rinse off all this soil and expose just the roots. Okay, so here we go. We're ready to wash all this off. We've just got it on a nice gentle stream at the moment. You can see we've got it on kind of the shower setting. Most people have got one of these little hose nozzles. So we'll start off with this and see how we go. So we'll just get it. You can even just squeeze it to halfway. You don't even need to have it at a full roar. And we just want to gently back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And what we can do here as well, we've got a couple of really big chunks, kind of barky kind of soil stuff as well. Another good little tip is just to turn it around to the other side. And you can see again, we're just giving that a nice, really good, and you can just move your arm kind of side to side, and that creates usually enough friction to get most of it off. All we're really dealing with now is just that one big chunk. We can give that a bit of a pull. And we're pretty good. You can see there, we've actually got, if we really want to, if we separate these, we've actually got two out of one there, which is really cool. Okay, here we are at our final step. Congratulations, we've made it. You can see here we've done a few more as well. We did our lettuce before. We've just done some zucchini. So you can see this is a bigger fruiting plant, but the process pretty much exactly the same. Just a nice gentle rinse of those roots, getting as much of that kind of soil and dirt off as we can, and that's more than enough. What we really want to make sure is that we can take around 1/3 of this root off if we need to plug it into a little coconut core plug, but we really don't want to try and disturb that too much. So our next step, we've got our coconut core plugs here. We've seen we've expanded those and they're nice and big now. Just give them a little bit of a squeeze on the side. We want to get them as nice and tall as possible. And all we have to do is use our big finger here, and we want to poke a nice, pretty decent hole into this plug. And you want to try and maybe see if you can get your finger to get close to touching the bottom of there. So we want to try and get that down as much as possible. So we've got a nice big hole for all those roots to go into. And now we're just going to grab our seedling here, and we've got our roots, and we just want to feed those in down into the plug, down there, nice and tight. And what we want to ensure is then we just want to give that a nice squeeze around the outside. And we just want to make sure, as much as we can, that those seedlings are standing as kind of vertically as possible. We don't want them to be flopping over too much. So that's our kind of little rule of thumb. If they're kind of standing up and looking good, then we've done a good job. We just want to put that back into our tray, like so, and repeat the process. And before we can transfer these into the air garden, we need to give them a good 5 to 7 days of establishing into these new coconut core plugs. So we want to put them back into our tray here for the next 5 to 7 days. And what's really important, you can see they're already starting to flop over because they're in the sun. This is a brand new transfer, so it's really important for the first 24 hours that we've done this to keep these out of the sun and out of the wind. We just want to bring them inside into a nice, cool, dry place, so they've got a chance just to acclimatize. They're in a little bit of shock. The next thing that we need to be sure of is over the next couple of days, as I said, we want to try and get these roots moving and searching for nutrients and water. So the best way to do that is to only water them with half-strength nutrients every couple of days. So what we really want to do is we want this grow plug here to dry down. So you can see it's a nice dark brown now. We know that that's nice, it's full of water, full of nutrient, and it doesn't need any more water. What we want to do is the next day, after our 24 hours have passed, we want to bring these out into some nice morning sun, only for 4 hours, from about say 8 till midday. We don't want to get these into the harsh afternoon sun. And then every couple of days, or once we notice that these plugs have kind of dried down and become light brown, we want to give them some half-strength nutrients. Now just refer back to your Airgarden manual. There's some instructions on how to do that. But basically all that means is to grab maybe a 1 or 2 litre container of water. We're going to grab only 1 ml of our part 1 solution, put that in, give it a stir, add another 1 ml of our part 2 solution, give it a stir separately, give that a stir, and then water those plugs down again until they're nice and dark brown and wet again, and then let them dry down again over a couple of days, and repeat the process until we see those nice big white roots growing out of the side. And then we'll be ready to transfer them into the air garden.